Hola, bueno, mi medio es una revista para niñas adolescentes. Entonces, después de escribir el libro y de interpretar a estos personajes, ¿qué consejo le darían a estas niñas que, al igual que los personajes, están viviendo este despertar en el amor y las relaciones?
Well, I definitely would not use After as a guidebook for dating or relationships by any means. I would say the characters separately, but not necessarily be like dating-wise. I would never say, read After and do exactly what they did. Never. But I would say for people, I have in the fan base, half of them are relating to Tessa, where they are either pressured by their parents to have a certain career, or they have so much pressure they put on themselves to succeed in the world, and they overthink, and they are trying to be more adult than they have the resources to be. So I don't really know, I don't necessarily feel comfortable giving advice from the book, because it's not really meant for that. I want everyone to take something away from it, but it's such a subjective thing. Like a film, book, everything is so subjective that I hope that other people take different things from each thing. Like I've had a lot of people say, after reading Harden, I've decided to see a therapist, I've decided to make up with my father, I've decided to not be so angry about things I can't change. So those are little things, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm giving any advice or a role model by any means, but I do know that I wrote something that people can see themselves in and reflect, and I've had a lot of people say they've kind of questioned and changed things about their lives.
Siguiente pregunta es para Marco Domínguez de Entera Magazine.
Hi guys. What's the moment, Anna? What's the moment to take a work, to take the pictures, installation of and next steps of generation in Mexico and other words, young people? ¿Cuáles fueron los pasos que tomaste para llegar a la siguiente generación de After?
I don't necessarily even know what I did exactly. I would love to know. Everyone always asks, what's the secret? I don't know. I have no idea. I used my phone and wrote a book on the internet for a hobby, and people liked it. But I would say for other writers who are trying to kind of get this audience, you have to relate to them. Like I have friends who, they'll have me read some of their books chapters and they're like, why won't this audience like this? And I'm like, because it's not realistic. We're kind of out of, as much as Game of Thrones and everything is so popular in YA and NA, we're very much out of supernatural, out of fantasy for now. So I feel like you need to make sure characters are grounded and people can relate to them, because now everything that they are seeing, their peers are now on a cell phone. So you have to be able to relate to what they're seeing on a cell phone, which is so weird, but it's literally the life now. But I would just say to be relatable, because people can, especially young people who see data all day and are always consuming something, they can see if it's fake or real, and I would just say to stay relatable to them.
Siguiente pregunta es para Juan Carlos García de Reforma.
Hello guys, one question for Hero, one for Josephine. Hero, you come from a family with a lot of history in acting and arts. What kind of advices they gave you for the roles that you choose? And do you care about the opinions, what they say about what you are working on? And Josephine, you are the only one that shares on screen with Selma Blair. This is going to be her comeback after she was diagnosed with MS, and it was a huge deal for her when she came back to the red carpet of the Vanity Fair after the Oscars. What did you think of her, and how was the relationship with her in the film?
Selma Blair is so incredible, and she's hilarious, and working with her was amazing because personality-wise, we have a lot of similarities, so I think it was great casting, and that
You too.
we were very similar to like mother and daughter, just in even how we walked and everything. So yeah, I mean, all I can say is that as an actor, she's phenomenal, and it was great.
My family and my uncle specifically are obviously quite busy and don't actually live nearby. We don't see them too often, but when we do, they're obviously really supportive and we'll have a quick chat. But I don't think it's as much me asking them for advice as opposed to me telling them what's going on and them saying congratulations, well done, and me asking them about their stuff. I know they would be there at the drop of a hat if I did need any advice, and I'm sure I will at some point, and I'll happily go and ask them. But as of now, I'm quite happy, trying to do my own thing.
Siguiente pregunta es para Jaime Rosales de Sin Éxtasis.
I want to ask you, Anna, specifically, how do you respond to criticism about the role of women nowadays in this new era of empowerment of women?
I definitely, this is such a long thing, I'll try to give the shortest answer. I feel like there is this weird, I'm going to steal a little bit of your thing that we talked about the other day. There's this weird thing where a girl is supposed to be a good girl. Tessa is a good girl because she's a virgin. This came from Josephine, not me. But Tessa's a good girl because she's a virgin. Hardin's a bad boy because he's angry and he has tattoos. It's like, how is Tessa not empowered? Because she makes bad choices? I know tons of strong women, myself included, who make tons of bad choices all the time. She definitely, I think when people say that Tessa's not empowered, anytime I've ever asked someone, have you read the whole series? No. Okay. So there's a time where Tessa and Hardin, spoiler alert, are apart for years. So Tessa's definitely really empowered. I'm not going to spill too much, but she goes through a lot of things that I know a lot of women who would struggle with the same way. I think it's unfair to say that a woman's not empowered because she falls in love and makes bad choices. And I know a ton of strong women again, and it's the same kind of thing with 50 Shades where people can say it's this all they want, but millions and millions of women related to it, were touched by it. I know thousands of women who have jobs because of 50 Shades. So I think this thing about empowering women and a love story having ups and downs is really weird and unfair. So I feel like Tess is empowered, I'm empowered, Josephine's empowered. I don't think that mistakes while you're in love have anything to do with your empowerment. And Tess is one of the strongest characters that I've ever read or created.
Siguiente pregunta es para Diana Alicia de Super Estéreo 94.7.
Welcome, guys. Now, I have 3 questions. One is for Anna and the other for the actors. Anna, if you had Anna at the age of 10, what would you tell her? And for Hero and for Josephine, how do you maintain self-centered?
I would tell my 10-year-old self that I would say, you're gonna get out of here, of the little town I was from. That was all, since I can remember, I'd always just wanted to leave. So I would just tell her to stay strong, get new friends, and get out of town.
What do you mean by self-centered?
Self-centered, how do you maintain, now that you are embracing pop culture, right, how do you maintain it? The ground,
just day by day. I mean,
Gravity.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
Wait, what did you say?
I said, how do you remain grounded? I said gravity. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're just taking things day by day and seeing how it goes. Get enough sleep, stay relaxed. It's all good.
Yeah, I think a big help is, exactly what you said, and good friends and family and people around you. Like, I could never go home and get big-headed. My friends would sit me right back down. So you've got to keep a good bunch around you, and they'll keep you in check.
I made a pact with my friends. I said, if I ever become a diva, call me out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to ask my friends that.
Siguiente pregunta es para Fernanda Flores de Reversos.
Hi guys, welcome to Mexico. And my first question is for Anna, and it's in Spanish. So, ¿quién fue o cuál fue tu inspiración para este libro? And the second question is for the guys. ¿Qué tal la pasaron haciendo la película? ¿Se divirtieron? ¿La pasaron bien? ¿Lo disfrutaron? This one.
For me, the inspiration came from a lot of places. I've always been a reader my whole life. and I felt like I had read everything, even though that's not true, but I had read hundreds and probably thousands of romances, thousands of fantasy books, and I felt like there was something I was missing, and I was in like a book drought where nothing was really keeping me, and I read tons on Wattpad, I read all these different places, so I couldn't find anything that was what I was looking for, and so I just, one random day, was like, oh, I'll just like write a chapter on Wattpad. I don't have any followers or any, like, I didn't have a title for the book, nothing, no idea where it was gonna go, but I just, when I wrote the first chapter, it just all kind of like poured out of me, and the inspiration while writing was the comments and the fan base like driving me to keep going and telling the rest of the story. And I never knew it was gonna be a whole book or 5, 7 now books, a movie. So the inspiration really just started from me as a book lover needing something different, and I couldn't find it. So I made it myself. I didn't think anyone was gonna read it except for me.
I think we definitely had a lot of fun, and I think, like I said earlier, so much of that is down to the fact that, well, I say luck, but I think it must have just been good casting, because not only is everyone great in their role, but we all got along so well, and I think you never know, you turn up and you might politely say, I'm going to go to my room and hang out and I'll see you tomorrow, but we all would spend as much of the small amounts of free time that we had hanging out together, and that's what I think made it so fun. I mean, obviously, the process is fun in itself, but I just think the team that we had, like everyone at the hotel, everyone being at the same hotel as well, we were genuinely just like hanging out as much as we were working, if you know, well, not as much, we were working a lot more, but we were hanging out at every opportunity we got, so I think just such a great group made it so fun.
That's the sort of thing about when you make a movie and a lot of your cast is around the same age. It's great.
Thank you, guys.
Siguiente pregunta es para Manuel y Ana de MBS.
Buenos días. Para la doctora me gustaría preguntarle, una vez que ha visto el impacto que ha tenido sus textos, ¿de qué forma le ha sensibilizado todos los comentarios en redes sociales a través de vaya, Facebook, Twitter, para sus futuros proyectos escritos o proyectos que desee planear en cine?
What do you mean? Sorry? It's the common...
Acerca del impacto que ha tenido a nivel mundial el libro.
On me personally?
Ajá. ¿De qué forma te ha sensibilizado para futuros proyectos?
I definitely, when I started again, I didn't know I'd have anyone reading it, so I was writing it for myself. And it's ended up being read by younger people than myself. In some places I have only grown women reading it. It's kind of funny how each country is different. Some countries I go and it's all 16-year-olds, and sometimes I go and it's all 45 and older. So it's a very apparently universal story, but I definitely am more sensitive to certain things. Like there are things that I wrote in the book of after that, or even the Wattpad version, that I was like, nope, not going in the book, and even from the book to the movie. I'm more sensitive on things like body positivity. And after I would make comments about Tessa's body and things and insecurities, and I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have. So I try to talk more about that in my other books. And I have all different races and different body types and different upbringings in the book. So I'm just more sensitive to the fact that my readers are worldwide and not everyone is the same, and not everyone wants to read the same kind of story.
Bueno, última pregunta es para Isaac Garrido de Vanity Fair.
Hey guys, over here. Isaac Garrido with Vanity Fair, and I would like to know, Anna, after getting involved in producing and the script writing, how do you think that getting involved with movies is going to have an effect or an impact in your work as a writer? And also, is there going to be a cameo in this movie? Are you going to be doing it?
I think I already said this publicly, so I won't get in trouble for saying it, but yes, I have a cameo. And I actually really loved producing way more. I had no idea that I would even actually be producing. I thought, oh, they're just giving me a credit and I can sit on set and just like hang out. Not at all what happened. In the best way. I learned so much, and I love producing a lot. And now when I'm writing my other books, I'm thinking of everything in scenes, and it will be way easier to adapt. And I will never make a book where everybody has tattoos ever again, because it's so hard. If the hair colors everything, I'm like, did I have to make every person have different color hair, covered in tattoos? So technical things like that I've learned, and now when I'm writing, it literally affects that. But mostly like timing and scene-wise, where I'm trying to make it to where we don't have to cut out half of the novel.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming and enjoy Mexico City.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Y a todos ustedes, muchísimas gracias por venir, en serio. Nada, esperen muy pronto la película en abril, ya estamos muy emocionados. Y bueno, muchísimas gracias.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias. Tenemos que irnos.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't.
Yo puedo tener
¿Pudiste hacer algo? ¿Pudiste?
una u otra.